Hi everyone, Scott Lewis here for Wirefly. Today I'm going to bring you a Schmackdown between two great phones. On the left we have the Verizon Motorola RAZR Maxx, and on the right here we have the HTC One S for T-Mobile. Both the RAZR Maxx and the HTC One S are fantastic phones, so I expect a back and forth battle today here in the Schmackdown arena. We're going to break it up into 4 rounds today and declare a winner at the end of those 4 rounds. The first round is going to be tech specs. The RAZR Maxx and the HTC One S are very comparable when we're talking about the tech spec round. They both have a 4.3-inch Super AMOLED display with resolutions of 540 by 960. They both have the exact same pixel density of 256 pixels per inch. When we're talking operating system, the HTC One S does have a slight advantage. It is running Android 4.0.3 right out of the box, so it is running Ice Cream Sandwich right out of the box, where the RAZR Maxx is running 2.3.6 right out of the box. Now it is upgradable to Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0, so that is a slight disadvantage for the RAZR Maxx, but not a big deal because they are both able to run the same operating system. Now both the RAZR Maxx and the One S have dual-core processors. The Motorola RAZR Maxx has a 1.2 GHz dual-core processor, where the HTC One S has a 1.5 GHz dual-core processor. So it gives a slight edge to the HTC One S. The last category in round 1 would be processor RAM. The Motorola and the HTC One S both have 1 GB of processor RAM. So our winner for round 1 is going to be the HTC One S for coming with the Android 4.0 right out of the box and for having a bigger processor in the 1.5 GHz dual-core processor. On to round 2. Round 2 is going to be all about the design for these two great phones. Now the RAZR has a thickness of 8.99 millimeters thick. When we compare it to the 7.8 millimeters thick for the HTC One S, there's a big difference in those. So that is a big plus for the HTC One S. There's a huge advantage to that 8.9 millimeter thick design of the RAZR Maxx. It's all battery. The battery in the RAZR Maxx takes up most of that. It is an integrated battery, so you cannot replace it, but the battery is a 3,300 milliamp hour battery. Same with the One S on the integrated part of the battery. You cannot replace the battery yourself, but it does give you 1,650 milliamp hours. So thickness goes to the One S at only 7.8 millimeters thick, but the 8.9 millimeter thick RAZR has a far superior battery when battery life is a big deal right now in smartphones. So the 3,300 milliamp hour battery definitely takes the prize and is a big part of this round. The weight on the RAZR Maxx is 5.11 ounces versus 4.22 ounces for the HTC One S. Now that's a 0.89 ounce difference. I would say that is a plus for the One S, but because of the 3,300 milliamp hour battery and how important battery life is nowadays with cell phones and smartphones, I'm not mad at the 5.11 ounce weight for the RAZR Maxx. Last category in design is going to be storage. Now both the RAZR Maxx and the One S have 16 gigabytes of onboard storage. A benefit to the RAZR Maxx is that it does have a spot over here where you can place up to a 32 gigabyte SD card. Now the HTC One S does not have that ability. It is cloud-based storage if you want to do anything over the 16 gigabytes that comes on the phone. Our winner for round 2 is going to be the Motorola Droid RAZR Maxx. That's based on the battery life that is so important nowadays with smartphones and the ability to have increased storage capacity without using a cloud-based service. Time for round 3. Round 3 is going to be all about the camera function and about the use of multimedia on the device itself. Both the RAZR and the HTC One S come with 8 megapixel rear-facing cameras. During camera testing, the HTC One S took better quality photos and had more options available for it than the Droid RAZR Maxx. So I like the camera on the HTC One S a little bit better than I like the one on the RAZR Maxx. So I'll give that part of the round to the HTC One S. On the flip side, I will say that the 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera on the RAZR Maxx is superior to the VGA quality front-facing camera of the HTC One S. Both of the rear-facing cameras record in 1080p, and they both have an LED flash, so very similar video quality from both the RAZR and the HTC One S. One additional multimedia feature that the HTC One S has that the RAZR Maxx does not is Beats audio integration. Beats audio integration is a digital equalizer that gives you a fuller, richer, cleaner sound out of your music and media content from the phone. I really noticed that difference in the One S versus the RAZR Maxx, so I definitely like that in the One S. The last comparison in round 3 is that both the RAZR Maxx and the One S have Bluetooth 4.0. That's the latest Bluetooth technology to connect to devices like Bluetooth headsets, cars, and external speakers. So to recap round 3, I like the 8 megapixel camera better on the One S. I like the front-facing 1.3 megapixel camera on the Droid RAZR, but the deciding factor is the Beats audio integration on the HTC One S. So I will declare the One S the winner for round 3. Before we jump into round 4, let's recap our scorecard real quick. We have the HTC One S with 2 rounds, and the Droid RAZR Maxx with 1. The RAZR Maxx needs to score a knockout here in round 4 in the benchmark battle in order to beat the HTC One S. Let's go ahead and start the benchmark tests and see who comes out the winner. The first one we'll run is the Antutu benchmark. Now for the Antutu benchmark, I'm not looking to see who finishes first, I'm looking at the scores. So let's see who comes out on top. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off now and pick it up right before the end. So we've just gotten our results for both the Droid RAZR Maxx and the HTC One S. Let's take a look at our final results. The HTC One S here has a 6,994 score, where the total score for the RAZR Maxx is a 6,110. As you can see some of the score breakdowns, the CPU in the HTC One S scored higher, which, because it's a 1.5 versus 1.2, totally makes sense. We have the GPU almost identical. The RAM, however, in the HTC One S is a 1,209 versus the 842 here in the RAZR Maxx. And the I/O is 678 versus an 870 here on the HTC One S. So not good news for the Droid RAZR Maxx. The HTC One S has the Antutu benchmark. Let's go ahead and run a quick quadrant standard benchmark. Get it started here on the HTC One S. I'm going to run a full benchmark. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, and I'll pick it back up when we get to the end of the quadrant standard benchmark. The Droid RAZR Maxx is just finishing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results for it. Now we have the HTC One S already finished. It had a score of 4,879 for the quadrant standard benchmark. Looks like the RAZR Maxx had a score of 2,205. So a pretty big difference between the HTC One S and the Droid RAZR Maxx. So once again, the quadrant standard benchmark goes to the HTC One S. So the HTC One S won the benchmark battle in round 4 with a win in the Antutu benchmark and the quadrant standard benchmark. That also says that the HTC One S won the overall Schmackdown today. It won the tech spec round, it won camera multimedia, and it also won the benchmark battles. Now the Droid RAZR Maxx won the overall design round, and it kept it very close in all the others. The RAZR Maxx is a high-powered, great battery life smartphone that I do highly recommend. The HTC One S just has a few small things that makes it the winner of today's Schmackdown. Now overall, I would recommend either one of these phones. They're great phones. The RAZR Maxx has fantastic battery life, which is so important today. A lot of people care about the battery life. A lot of questions that I get on YouTube are about battery life. The RAZR Maxx has the best. Now the HTC One S is a fantastic phone. Great, sleek design. It has a lot of power. It is a very nice phone, and I highly recommend either one of these phones. Now you can pick up either one of these phones on Wirefly.com right now. Wirefly will save you hundreds of dollars on either the RAZR Maxx or the HTC One S compared to the carrier stores. We would love for you to come to Wirefly.com and check out all the fantastic pricing that we have, including the great prices that we have on the RAZR Maxx and the HTC One S. My name is Scott Lewis for Wirefly. Thanks for watching.